How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Let's Play Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. Castlevania 1, the original, used to be my favorite game in the series, but since my knowledge of the series was pretty lacking, I embarked on a quest recently to play all of the Castlevania games in order. And I got to Dracula's Curse not too long ago, and beat it and became real infatuated with it. It's currently my new favorite Castlevania game. And first, we have cool stuff right off the bat. If you enter Help Me at the character name screen, the game starts you off with 10 lives, which is really generous because Dracula's Curse is notable for, among other things, being very difficult. But we're not going to use that. Instead, I'm going to go with Ralph. Good old, plain old Ralph, because that is your character's name in the original Japanese version of the game. Ralph Belmondo. In English, Belmondo is localized to Belmont, and the character's first name becomes Trevor. Trevor Belmont. We will talk about the story and the history and the lore and all that stuff of the series in a little bit. On the first screen of the game, we'll get a pretty good idea of pretty much all the game's systems, its controls. We can duck, we can jump, we can attack with our trusty whip, the vampire killer. And we can use a variety of sub-weapons. We picked up a dagger on the first screen. And all you do to use that is you hit up and the attack button. And that's pretty much it for controls. It's simple, it's crisp. The whip has a really long startup animation. And you cannot move while you have the whip extended. You can't change the direction of your jump arc in midair. Trevor kind of jumps like a boulder. It's very heavy feeling. The whip only whips horizontally, unlike in Super Castlevania 4, where you have an 8-way directional whip that just kind of breaks the game. All of this makes the game feel very heavy and very slow. Deliberate is actually a better way of putting it. I picked up holy water, which you can kind of toss this in an arc. We'll see that in a moment. Holy water is really good. The dagger, you just throw it straight horizontally. Holy water leaves lingering flame on the ground, though. Should be a skeleton I can throw it at just over here. Yeah, even got him at midair. Oh, this game feels so good. And down here, the game does some really cool teaching. So you have a safe environment. You see this kind of transparent platform. And you're given the opportunity to jump on it, so that when you come over here, and you're faced with all of these Medusa heads, enemies which I love, by the way, you already know what the hazard is. You're given the tools ahead of time to make good decisions once you get to this point. So they teach you a very crucial mechanic to getting through this part safe. Oh! Yeah! To getting through that part safely, and then they kind of test you with it. They kind of put you in harm's way, but they don't throw you to the wolves completely. It's just very nice little bit of game design there. Oh man, the holy water is so good. It should cost more than one heart to throw. Oh no, I don't want to pick the axe up. The axe has a much wider arc to it. It goes much higher vertically. And it goes a little bit farther than the holy water, but the holy water can hit multiple times because of that lingering flame on the ground. It's a very, very powerful thing. Oh, another axe. Gotta wait for it to despawn. Okay, these hunchbacks are kind of a problem. So I just have to be careful about them. Oh, that one dropped a double. I think it's like a power-up for your sub-weapon. See, skull towers, they'll shoot projectiles that you can actually whip at midair. You have, the game is slow and heavy, but you have tools. You have all of the tools that you need to get through this. I was saying before, the game feels very slow, very heavy. What it is that it forces you to be deliberate with your choices, and it forces you to be very attentive to the environment, and to enemy placements and patterns. If you take out the stuff about jumping that I was saying earlier, I could pretty much be describing Dark Souls with that. Oh, and here we... Oh, God, the holy water's screws bosses up so bad sometimes. This is just like the stage 1 boss, so it's not too representative of how bosses are going to be throughout the game. But, oh, holy water. Pretty goddamn good. I'm gonna swap it out eventually, but probably gonna keep it for the next boss too. It's like the ideal for a couple bosses here. It was like that in Castlevania 1 as well. But the game is less about like fast-paced, quick action and reacting to things really quickly, like say Ninja Gaiden on the NES, and more about really planning and making really good decisions and observing enemies and learning their patterns and stuff like that. Because if you play in a dumb way, you get punished really hard. Oh, this is something I didn't explain. So, since the new stage reset my hearts, you can see in the upper right, my hearts are right above my lives. That's a stopwatch. It uses 5 hearts to freeze time, but it doesn't work on bosses, or at least not most of them. I think there was 1 or 2 in Castlevania 1 it worked on. I'm not sure if it works on any in Dracula's Curse. Yeah, you'll see me picking up hearts. Those hearts act as kind of ammunition for your sub-weapons. All of the sub-weapons except for the stopwatch consume 1 heart, I believe. I think the holy water should consume 2 or 3, to be honest, because it's so good. Oh, man. You'll see me whipping at the walls occasionally. That's because they can sometimes contain things like wall chicken. Wall chicken replenishes your health. They can also contain hearts, 1-ups, I think. Doubles and triples. And we're about to get into one of the first fairly difficult sections. We could have skipped this level entirely and you would have never seen the Clocktower. But that would have been a shame for a number of reasons, because I really fucking like this level. And as we get to some of the Ascension sequences later on with the Medusa heads, it's going to get really hectic. And I am down for that. The Clocktower is one of my favorite levels. Castlevania 3 added a really nifty feature as a departure from Castlevania 1, and it's kind of the same linear level structure as Castlevania 1, but oh man, first hit. But between certain stages, you can sometimes get the option of choosing one route over the other. And depending on which route you take, you can skip levels entirely, you can acquire certain things. You'll see at the end of this stage what our reward is for doing this extra stage. If we had taken the lower path after stage 1, we would have skipped this and gone on to stage 3, but we wouldn't be able to get something. And there's a triple. There's another power-up for my sub-weapon, which I didn't really need because it's already super good. I really appreciate that they ditched all the shitty things from Simon's Quest and they just went straight back to Castlevania 1 here. Like, they ditched the shitty, confusing open world, the really bad localization, the villagers who would just lie to you. Some of the weaker gameplay stuff, like grinding for hearts, because hearts in Simon's Quest were not really fuel for your sub-weapons. They were like RPG-esque upgrade. They were like experience points, more than anything. Yeah, they just went straight back to what worked in Castlevania 1. Wall chicken! Yeah, that's my favorite thing ever. Went straight back to Castlevania 1, figured out what worked, and what they could do to improve on it, and Dracula's Curse is pretty much better in every way. This is gonna be another really easy boss. This is Grant. All he does is really throw daggers at you. And he does not like holy water either. The next boss coming up after this upcoming stage, I'm gonna be switching to the dagger. Probably the only time in the game that I'm actually gonna willingly go for the dagger. But we're not done with Grant. Grant transforms into a human. My name is Grant. I dreamed I was turned into a ghost. It's a weird way to start a conversation, Grant. Please take me with you. My family was killed by Dracula. What will you do? Will you take him with you or leave him behind? I'm taking him with me. Grant's fucking awesome. Oh, yeah! Oh, they do the Predator handshake. Like when Arnold sees Dylan. Dylan, you son of a bitch. Grant. Yeah. So that's usually what you'll get for doing the optional routes in this. You will have to go through an extra stage, but you'll usually get a companion for doing so. In this case, we can hit select, and that switches us to Grant. And Grant is entirely different from Trevor. I almost called him Simon. So Grant attacks very, very quickly, albeit with a short-range dagger, which in the Japanese version of the game, he can actually throw. Oh, gotta be careful about this. So now we're making our way back down the Clocktower, which is kind of a dangerous descent. Actually changes the level in a cool way. Oh, come on. God, I've been so clutch throughout this so far. Hoping it keeps up like this. I have to make a little leap of faith soon. Shit, yeah! Okay, yeah, I have to make a leap of faith here. If the enemies go above where the HUD is, they just kind of despawn. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Grant, as you saw, can also cling to walls in the ceiling. He's a lot faster than Trevor is. He also has the unique property that he can change his direction in midair. He also has a much wider jump arc. He's a lot faster than Trevor. He's a lot more mobile. Very, very cool. So you get optional companions that you can recruit if you do these extra pathways. Okay. Oh, I love the Medusa head so much. Because, like, a big part of the game's challenge is, like I said, reading the environment, being very observant, enemy placement and patterns, like I wasn't there. And the Medusa heads are just like the consummation of that gameplay style. Like, a lot of people find them to be very difficult, and they are, to deal with, because you have this really, really shallow jump arc. You're very heavy, you're very slow, but it's all about just paying attention to their pattern. Man, the fucking Clocktower is so good. More wall chicken? No, heart. I think the wall chicken only spawns if you're below a certain health threshold. I could be wrong about that. I think otherwise it might just turn into a heart. Man, this is a good game. Okay, so we should only have a little bit left of the Clocktower. Not sure if we'll get around to doing the third stage in this episode. Toss a holy water down at you. Don't make the mistake of trying to jump that gap instead of just, like, I know you don't want to take the time out to slowly walk down the stairs back there, but do it anyway. Because if you try to jump that, you'll hit your head on the ceiling and immediately fall through the stairs to your death. And you don't land on the stairs once you start falling. You either walk all the way down or you fall all the way through like that. Oh my god! Yeah! Yeah! I love when you accidentally do cool stuff. You fluke your way into doing something awesome. I was accidentally good at the game there. Oh, I meant to fall a little, not that much. Whatever, I fluked my way into doing something cool. This game is incredible. Love when you look like a pro by accident. Alright, that's gonna do it for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.